Hello! Welcome to Unboxing Alice, the YouTube channel with that purple fox that unboxes things. I'm Alice Frost, and today we are going to unbox Anime St. Louis! Yeah! Anime St. Louis! So, yeah, obviously Anime St. Louis, with that name, tells you it's not furry related, it's an anime convention, but there's a lot of crossover in nerd fandoms when it comes to furries and like gamers and D&D people and bronies and Sonic fans and anime and all of that. So I figured I would give you the rundown of the convention as I experienced it, and hopefully you will enjoy. So our convention story actually starts Thursday night, where I was very late packing and I left very late. But I drove here from my home down to, I think, St. Charles, Missouri. I had a few friends that attended with me. This was a con I didn't even know I was going to until like a month ago. A friend of mine hadn't like left the house since COVID started. He's like, "Oh, I want to go to a convention." And I was like, "Okay, which one?" He's like, "I'm in St. Louis." I was like, "Dude, that's in April. We have like a month to plan." He's like, "Yeah, do that." So here we go, going on to St. Louis. I was actually going to drive down with them. They're all the way in like the Chicagoland area, but I actually had a couple of doctor's appointments on Monday, so I figured I would just stay overnight and just go to those on Monday. And initially, I was going to just stay in the hotel an extra night, but I have a friend down there who offered her place, so I didn't have to spend an extra $200 for the hotel. So again, drove down Thursday night, and actually 2 days before, I was able to change our hotel. We were supposed to be in the, oh shoot, what is it? The Drury Inn, which I think was like a 20-minute walk from to the convention. Not great. I mean, I walk 10,000 steps a day, so walking's not new to me or my friends. But when you're in a suit, when I'm walking for my lunch break, I don't look like this. I'm just walking regularly. That wasn't great. But at the last second, I was able to change it to the Embassy Suites, which is the Con Hotel. It is the hotel connected to the convention center. Significantly better. Went from a 20-minute walk to 8 floors up in an elevator ride. So awesome. It was insane that I was able to do that. I was able to use a special discount that only I can use thanks to the nature of my work. So I was able to get that done, and I got there around like 7, met the guys, checked in, tried to get our badges Thursday night. If you've never been to a convention before, definitely try to get your badge the night before if you can go before, because it can kind of be a mess. It depends on what convention it is. For again, with Gateway Fur Meet, I waited, I think, 2 minutes. I was there Thursday night. I waited 2 minutes. I did see the line Friday and Saturday. That pretty substantial line. I don't think it would have taken forever though. I've been to ASEN, which is a huge anime convention in not Fairview. What do you call it? Rosemont, Illinois. So basically Chicago. That can be a 5-hour wait, and I'm not exaggerating. It can be literally a 5-hour wait. So, and I'm sorry if you hear squeaking. It's somewhere in my suit. I don't know what that is. We're going to continue. Went Thursday night to register because there isn't anything else to do Thursday night other than check into your hotel and get your badge. And I was a bit miffed that the pre-reg, because all of us are pre-reg, we learned from years in college going to ASIN, learn the hard way. Always pre-reg. Do not register day of unless you have to. Like if you know you can only go one day and you can't pay for that ahead of time, then that's when you are going to pay for your badge at the door. But if you know you're going all weekend, for the love of all that is furry, buy a badge beforehand. It's usually cheaper when you do that too, but the lines are usually shorter. Usually. Note that word usually. Because when we got there, the line was kind of long. Like there were 6 people waiting in the at the door registration and like 30 people, including us, waiting in the line for pre-reg. We're like, what? It's like going to, if you're American, especially, you'll understand, going through like the TSA, like the security check. At one point, when you paid for that, was a pre-check or whatever, you did have to take your shoes off, and it was supposed to be a smoother process. And then everyone and their grandma started doing the TSA pre-check thingy. So now half the time when I go travel somewhere and I have to go through the security check, the pre-check line is significantly longer than the non-pre-check line. So at one point, yeah, it kind of just turns a 180. But I would still recommend pre-registering if you can, though. In all honesty, it usually does save you time. But we got in line. Of course, we had to make show that we were vaccinated and all of that. I don't think we had to show boosters like at GFM. You had to be boosted, and you had to prove it. With Anime St. Louis, I think we just had to have a vaccine or a negative COVID test. And I've had my boosters and everything, so I'm good to go. And I will keep adjusting my face. I'm sorry. That was okay. It was a very long line and probably about a 20-minute wait at least. We showed our COVID stuff, and then we got a, what do you call it, like a wrist strap that showed we were negative or whatever with the COVID stuff. And we also had to show that to get our badge. So they gave us our badge, and they gave us like one of those like event wristbands that once you snap them on, they're never coming off ever unless you cut them. It didn't make any sense to me because you were supposed to wear that. You had to wear the, obviously wear the badge. You had to wear the bracelet all weekend. What? Why? Why do I have to wear this bracelet all weekend when you showed the COVID thing to get your badge? The badge that I'm wearing should tell you that I have a negative COVID test or had the vaccine. Why am I wearing this stupid armband? It was really, really dumb. I don't know why they did that. Again, badges, that's standard for any convention. But for this little, not armband, like wristband, it made no sense. So like I had to shower with the darn thing like all weekend. It was so stupid. But beyond that, Thursday was okay. We went ahead and went to Mission Taco because it was kind of the only place that wasn't going to close like immediately after we got done with registration. I thought my food was fine. It basically reminded me of Chipotle. That's why I put it in. That's what I label it as in my Weight Watchers app. My friend Rule Card, and I'm going to use my friend's usernames, not their actual names. He wasn't a huge fan of what he got, unfortunately. My friend KT said his food was good, but not structurally sound, which was just funny. I can't remember what he got. At the time, it made sense, but I can't tell you what he got. I'll try and put a picture of my food up here at one point. I unfortunately didn't take as many pictures as I usually do, so there'll still be some pictures sprinkled around, but there's probably more pictures of me in suit with other suitors than there are of like cosplayers. I'm sorry about that. But that was basically Thursday. Get badge, get food, kind of go through the program booklet and see what was being offered. Sorry, still adjusting. I'd actually done this beforehand, but I'm coordinating with the guys now to see what they want, what our plans are going to be for the weekend, and so forth. So that's kind of it. That was Thursday. Crashed. It was a very long day. The guys actually did take off Thursday in part because they have to drive, 3 to 4 hours to get down there. Actually, more than that, I think. 3 hours to me. So it's probably closer to 5 hours for them. For me, I did work. I actually work from home Thursdays and Fridays, so it was no big deal to check my emails and do stuff and also like throw stuff in a suitcase. So I actually didn't take off, but yeah, everything was gravy. Everything was fine. We were in the embassy suites, so it was a nice big room. I shared a bed with KT, and Roll Card was on the couch. And there was going to be another friend coming the next night who just couldn't get off, so that's why he wasn't there Thursday. Friday, get up. I actually go to the no, I did not. No, I did go to the gym. And I got to go to the gym because I couldn't go to the gym Thursday. So I did a little bit of that while the guys slept, and then I spent the morning in downtown Belleville to pick some things up. Won't go into that. Just popcorn tins and some stuff for my vacuum and da. Came back around 1, and it wasn't anything to do. This is an unusual convention in that it starts at like 4 p.m. and I've never really seen that before. A con isn't really going to start like 8 a.m. on a Friday, but they usually start around I think 11ish, maybe noon, with like the opening ceremony, and then usually the vendor hall will open like right after that. But with Anime St. Louis, they started at 4 p.m. on Friday, so there was a large, literally a day where there is nothing for us to do regarding the con. So we were deciding, what should we do? Roll Card isn't really a touristy person. He's fine with just sitting and playing with his Switch. But KT and I are more touristy people, and we don't want to do stuff. So the last few times KT's come down here come down there to visit me at the time when I lived in the St. Louis area. I think it was like for a LAN party or something. But we went to the city museum. He's like, "Hey, let's go to the city museum." I was like, "Oh God, God." Sure, I love the city museum, but last time we went, I was significantly smaller, and I could fit through more things. But we said, "Yeah, well, sure, let's go." He was worried about me because he knows about my limitations. I'm bigger. Also, if you don't know what the city museum is, well, Google it. It's awesome. But it's basically, we had a jungle of fun here in town that went out of business. But I'm trying to think of another place that I could compare it to. But it's basically a giant jungle gym made of like rebar. That's all it is. It's this giant warehouse building. People of all ages are going to be crawling around in tight spots. You're going to sweat your butt off and try and fit in these tight spaces that only a gerbil should be able to fit into. It is a lot of fun, though. I would strongly, I'll caution you if you are bigger, like if you're my size or bigger. I am 5'2.5", and I'm 250 pounds, 245 pounds, whatever. So I could actually fit. I was surprised I could fit in most things. I'll put a couple pictures of the city museum up here, and I could fit through some things. There's some others I'm like, nah, nah, it's not gonna happen. When I was at my smallest, 165 pounds, I went to the museum with KT and our friend Grimace, who I will start talking about later on, for the first time because none of us had heard of the City Museum way back when. And I was 165 pounds back then, and I could fit in like really tight spaces but I could barely fit into them then. No way in heck I'm fitting in them now. But we went around and just ran around like idiots, squeezing through things and jumping through things and pawing through things. There was one tight like spiral area that I really wanted to go into, and KT went in. And both my friends were like a lot of guy friends, and most of them were tall. I think KT is like 6'1", he said, and Rule Card is about 5'10". Rule Card is a huskier guy though. KT's pretty thin, and KT was going up this thing. Again, he's taller than me, but he's much smaller than I am. I was like, I don't know. I'm not sure. I did try it, and I could fit. I had to sit at one point and just, okay, what's my next move? I'm not really sure where I should be going or how I should be doing this. But I did some maneuvering, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I had to do the same thing." I was like, "Oh, okay, no, I know what I'm doing. Okay, wow, crawl this way, over this way. I made it, yeah." Yeah, it's such an accomplishment when you can make it through one of those things and not freak out, and they have to call the fire department because you got stuck. So, I think I've heard that's a thing. Some people will either freeze and get claustrophobic, or they will greatly underestimate their abilities and what they're trying to fit in, and they will get stuck. So thankfully, that did not happen to me. It was a blast. I loved it. We were dripping sweat. If you are not if you are a severe germaphobe, stay the heck away from this place because everyone's going to be sweating everywhere all the time. But it is a lot of fun. If you do get the chance, definitely check it out. It is most certainly for families, but adults have fun in it too. I've seen adults crawling with their kids, and then there are plenty of people like me and my friends who are, all in our 30s and we're crawling around like ants in this place. A lot of fun. It was a great way to pass the time. I also got some exercise. So yeah. But after that, it was about time for the con to start. Did miss the opening ceremony, which is fine. We usually don't go to those. I think I've gone to the GFM ones, but I haven't really gone to opening ceremonies anywhere else. After the opening ceremony, well, I'm sorry, not after we went back to the city museum, or went back to the hotel from the city museum. I can English. My friend wanted to go to a concert. Katie's really big on concerts, so that was kind of his focus for the weekend. I think Will Carter and I decided to check out the Dealer's Den because it was going to be a pretty packed weekend. We all had a lot of things we wanted to see and not really a lot of time to check out the Dealer's Den. So we did check that out. There wasn't much, honestly. He didn't find anything. I don't think any of the guys found much of anything that they were interested in. I did find a couple things, and I'll talk about those later on because I bought them on Sunday. But it was okay, I guess. I think part of why I don't buy as many things at anime conventions because a big part of it are dealers, like people who are selling like Blu-ray and officially licensed toys and things, things you can easily buy on the internet from a dozen different places, and there'll be a dozen different prices. And I apologize for my hair. I had sewn these down on my head just so they wouldn't flop everywhere, and this one broke during the convention, so I have to resew it. I didn't have time to do that. But yeah. So with DVD, Blu-ray, it kind of just depends. There's a few shows I was looking for. One, I'm never gonna find it. It's just too hard to find. It's too expensive. But I found a couple others. But when it comes to Blu-ray, again, it's a very particular show that I'm looking for. If that's the case, when it comes to figurines and stuff, I don't buy them. I don't really have any. I think I've got some free ones, but nothing I've really bought, and those can get pretty pricey as well. My phone is going bonkers right now, or rather, my watch is going bonkers. I'm going to try and ignore that. Anyhow, so they're just not much. I'm definitely more into the artist territory when it comes to the vendor hall, especially for like anime stuff, because then you can find some really unique items for sale. I did see a couple things, and I'll go through those later. Actually, give me a second. My watch is driving me nuts. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, that alarm was driving me nuts. So we went through the dealer's den, and after that, we went for food. I Well, no, I'm sorry. I had a let me think. What did I do? Yeah, okay. So I had a panel. We didn't go to food yet. After the dealer's den, I think there was another concert that the guys went to. I went to a kind of a cosplaying as a POC type of panel. It was one of the guest of honor panels. I think Pro and Con Cosplay were heading that, and it was just talking about how difficult it is to cosplay in as a BIPOC person, Black, Indigenous, people of color. And they even stretched it out to cosplaying as LGBTQ or cosplaying as someone who is physically disabled. It was a really good panel, and the two women who I think were twins that were in charge, the panelists, their actual day job is doing diversity and inclusion and different things like that, things that were super big after the George Floyd murders. And it was really cool that they know what they're talking about. This is literally what they do for a living. So I really enjoyed their panel. It was more of a structured panel, which I enjoy. I actually prefer having just slides, and I took a bunch of pictures of those slides, as opposed to a panel where just kind of open. Like open panels, it will depend. Some are good, some are not. So I really do like their structured panel, and there was a really, really good experience. I learned a lot from that panel. After that, we went and got some food at, I think it was called Tony's, and I really wanted to get a pasta with broccoli, pasta con broccoli. I decided to be good and have something a bit healthier. The guys got the pasta con broccoli, and I saw it, and I was really glad I didn't get it. I mean, they said it was really good, but it was super, super rich. Like, they both regretted their life choice after eating it, and they both got like full orders too. So they got this giant plate of pasta with my chicken. It had a sauce on it, but it was easy for it, it just kind of fell off. So when I was done eating the chicken and the broccoli and the mushrooms, there was a buttload of sauce still on my plate. With the guys, their food, the sauce is stuck to everything. You're going to eat that sauce, darn it. They're going to make sure you eat that sauce. But it was good. It was an excellent restaurant. It was really good food. And then we went to go pick up Grimace. Obviously, not the big purple thing from McDonald's. That is my friend's handle. So it wasn't My Little Pony panel that Real Card and I wanted to go to, but we had to go pick up Grimace, so we couldn't miss that. So went into downtown St. Louis to get him. It took a bit of driving around to find him. We did find him, and he had not eaten. I was like, how he's lives in Chicago, so he's used to taking trains and things like that. So he took the train down here, but he didn't eat. I was like, dude, why'd you not go to the dining car and get food? I'm sure it's like $50 or whatever. I'm sure it's ungodly expensive, but how do you live? How do you live being on a train for 5 hours, not eating anything? So he lived off of the jelly beans I got from downtown Belleville and some cookies that KT's mom had sent with us. Nice gingerbread cookies, which are really awesome. And that was the end of Friday. We got Grimace and kind of kept him up to speed and really caught up with him because Grimace I hadn't spoken to in I think a couple of years. When I go up to Chicago for my appraisal courses for work, sometimes he and I will go to dinner on Sunday night the night I arrive because the rest of the week I'm going to be studying like crazy, so I'm not going to have time. but usually we'll do a meeting there. He doesn't really game though, so with KT and Real Card, I play games with him pretty regularly via Steam, but Grimace doesn't do that, so I just don't get to speak to him as much as I speak with the others. So it was really nice catching up with him. But after that, again, we just kind of crashed. He took the rollaway couch part. Not Grimace. Real Card was on like the actual couch part, and he just slept on that. But Grimace unrolled like the foldaway bed and slept on that. So we were good to go. And Saturday rolls around. I actually had a foam smithing panel on Saturday, and I chose not to go to it because the guys wanted to go to like it was like video game cartoons from 80s, 90s, and beyond. And I was like, sure, I'll just go to that. It doesn't really matter either way. That was a 2 hour panel. My panel would have been an hour. It was a lot of fun. I hadn't seen any of these shows. I hadn't played any of these video games. So there were a lot of references and things I'm not going to get, but it was still a really fun panel. It was just this guy. I believe it was like a guest panel, so he's probably like one of the guests of honor. But he was just showing us different clips of shows and, telling us some background and some history and how this came to be this, and just showing a lot of, some of these are very nostalgic for people. Some of these are really good. Some of these are really not very good when they came out. Heck, they're not good now. But it was a really fun 2 hours. And I think after that, we kind of just crashed in the room for a bit. I decided to suit. I believe I mentioned in my last videos, I wasn't sure if I was going to suit or not because at the time we were in the jury and that was going to be the 20-minute walk. And, it's a struggle walking around my house trying to get ready for this video in these feet paws, which I'm sorry are very dirty. I have not cleaned them yet. Obviously, if I was going to go from the jury to the con, I would be wearing outdoor feet paws and not these, but that's still a lot. But no, since we're in the hotel connected to the convention, why not suit? So I decided to suit Saturday morning, and the very first panel I went to in suit was the Eat-A-Bag parade, which I was very disappointed because it was not a parade. It was a lot of people bringing their Eat-A-Bags and putting them on the table and displaying them, and people will get up and talk about them. And for that panel, I brought several of my Eat-A-Bags. I had the multi-fandom bag. I didn't put that in the actual panel, like I didn't display it. I probably could have, but I had 3 other bags with me, so I didn't want to just be a person carrying like all of the bags. Though some people took like 6 of their bags, so I guess I could have. The bags I displayed are the, what do you call it, cat bus bag, which I have unboxed like I think 2 years ago, and Gigi, which I unboxed in that same video. Both of those were from Stamey Studios. And I took my boba bag, which was also from Stamey Studios, but in a different video. And I tried gussing those up. When I unbox things from Kickstarter, half the time they are just sitting in the closet because I do not have time, or I don't have the space to display them right now. Like the dice, what do you call it, vaults that I just showed you, they're in a closet. And that sounds terrible and wasteful, but I know when I get my own like house that I paid for that's bigger than this, I will have space for these things. It's kind of why I'm buying them now. But as of right now, they just kind of have to go in the closet. So with a lot of the Eat-A-Bags, like except for the multi-fandom bag because I use it every day, the others just kind of sit. And so do a lot of the pins I've shown you. They just kind of have to sit. Though I do have plans to display those in the future. For this panel, I had to go through all of my pins and like all of my Kickstarter stuff, and I need to organize that one day and put like Persona pins over here and Ghibli stuff over here, My Little Pony over here, etc. and so forth. So I had to go through everything and figure out where everything was, which Ghibli ones I had, and then from there, what Ghibli pins I, actually from what show or what movie that I actually own. And for, anything related to My Neighbor Totoro, Cat Bus. Anything related to Kiki's Delivery Service, Gigi. And then I do have a set of Ghibli boba pins, and those went with the boba bag. Unfortunately, there's only about 6 of those, so that's bags looking kind of sad. There's just not much in it. It does have like the boba that I showed you that go inside it. It's all filled with that, but there needs to be more pins in that. So, but I'll try and show you pictures of all 3 boba bags, or all 3 Eat-A-Bags as I decorated them. I'll have to redo Gigi. I think a couple of those fell off, and I'll put them back up. Gigi came out okay. I have way more Cat Bus pins than Gigi pins. I'm very, very happy with how Cat Bus came out because I have a lot of pins for that one. I actually used that one for the rest of the weekend because it's pretty spacious. And fun fact, both Gigi and Cat Bus will fit the Steam Deck. I didn't realize that. And the Steam Deck wasn't even in my thoughts when I unboxed them. But I decided to give it a shot while I was up there. I was like, oh my god, this fits. So yeah, the Steam Deck will also fit in both. But I told people about them and I, showed them my bags and all of that. They did actually want to do a parade and they asked and they said no. So that's why it was just kind of an eat a bag showcase instead of parade. But beyond or after that, I went back upstairs and put all the other bags away. I kept Cat Bus because all my stuff was in there, like my wallet and everything. I was carrying that around. But after that, where did we go? Oh, we went to the They Aren't Rice Balls, They're Jelly Donuts panel. A ridiculous name, but it's all about 4Kids, the company, and just all of the all of the stuff they've done to a variety of anime, including Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, One Piece, Sailor Moon. There are a few others in there I can't remember. There was just a bunch of women who were, really funny. So they're just going from show to show to show, showing all the things that 4Kids changed. Especially if you're like I'm 37, so if you are a 90s kid like I am and you grew up with like Sailor Moon and Yu-Gi-Oh and some of these other older shows, you had 4Kids dubbing everything, and it was very interesting. If you haven't seen them, just go watch some of those shows because they had some things were content wise like violence, and some of these shows were in a afternoon slot, so they are for kids. They're being shown in a slot where young kids are going to see them after school, so some things will need to be edited down. But there were some things that were just dumb, like in the title, "These aren't rice balls, they're jelly donuts." It refers to Pokemon where the characters were eating rice balls, and they kept, with the dubbing, you can change things. You could just tell the VA, the voice actor, to say something else. And so, like, oh my god, these jelly donuts are amazing. It was just hilarious because they're not eating jelly donuts; they are clearly eating Japanese rice balls. But I don't know why they made that change. I guess they just thought that American children finding out Japan or other cultures ate different foods, they might explode. I don't even know. It's so stupid, but it was a funny panel, so I enjoyed that one a lot. After that, I think KT had another, what do you call it, like another concert. So I went back to the dealer's den with Rule Card and Grimace. Grimace hadn't gone yet because he had just come the night before. So we just kind of walked around with a lot faster because we'd seen everything. Whenever I go into a vendor hall, it takes forever. Well, more so in a furry one. And well, I haven't been to a My Little Pony Con in years, unfortunately, but I will be going to Cider Fest this year, hopefully. But for My Little Pony, or I'm sorry, for furry cons, it will take me forever because I have to look through all your stuff, and I strike up a conversation. I'm asking you about things, and sometimes I've had like whole conversations with artists. I feel bad because I need to go away and let them do business. That's what happened with Gobi Raptor at Gateway Furmeet. We had so many conversations about again how bad season 5 or Gen 5 of I Know Pony was, but kind of blew through that. And after that, it was about 5ish. We went and got some food. We just ordered it and had it delivered. Oh, I'm sorry, we went to go get it. We didn't have it delivered because I hate delivery. It's expensive and there's tipping involved and do that. So we couldn't really go out to eat together. Just our schedule on Saturday wouldn't allow it. So we went and got crazy bowls and wraps. I think I forgot what I even got. I'll put a picture of it here because I do have a picture. I just don't know what the heck it is. The guys got a wrap and put noodles in it for reasons. They knew that was a horrible idea, a really bad life choice. They did it anyway, but they enjoyed it. It fell apart like they thought it would, but they said it tasted pretty good. And KT was at his concert, so he told us what he wanted, and we just put it out so he could eat it when he got back. And after that was D&D. And I didn't mention this, but Friday they had signups for a one-shot campaign. It was actually several sessions throughout the day, Saturday. But they had signups Friday night, and so I went and signed up for, I think it was 7 to 11. Oops, sorry, or 6 to 11? I don't remember, whatever it was. It was 8. It was 8 to 11. I'm sorry, it was 3 hours. And it actually stretched. We didn't end it at 3 hours. We had to finish the thing, and so we ended around midnight. But I signed up for that. I ended up being on the reserve list, and you have to show up the time of, and they call people's names. If they aren't there, they will go to the next person. And I was very, very lucky. I was the last person they called, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm here." Like, okay, you're the last person. Sorry, everybody else. We're full. It was a blast. The campaigns were run by Questward Bound. I think that's what they're called. There were two guys in particular that were running it, two DMs. Cody was our DM. He was awesome, and I love my DMs for my own campaign. But Cody can do accents. He can do sound effects. He really adds. He had so much flavor to a campaign. It's insane. I wish I had honestly recorded it, like the entire session. It's something I didn't even think about. Obviously, if I was going to do that, I have to get everyone's permission at the table, and there were 8 players, so 9 people, including the DM. But I'd have to get their permission to do that. And maybe next year I will do that because it was an absolute blast and it was hilarity. I will not go do a play-by-play of the entire campaign, but the short is, we were all characters that knew each other. I ended up being a Tabaxi sorcerer. Tabaxi are basically anthropomorphic cat people, so kind of like Naya, only Naya is a Lannan, and they are specifically anthropomorphic lions. Tabaxi, it sounds like they could be kind of an anthropomorphic any feline that's not a lion, I guess. So I believe my character was male at one point, and then he said, "Oh no, I just made all these gender neutral. You can do whatever you want." It's like, oh, well, my character's female now, and I hate my character kind of this deep, rougher voice, kind of like a dismissive, airy, I'm tired of the world type of voice, and I just use a deeper voice, a deeper version of my normal voice, which my voice is pretty deep anyway. When I became a woman, I suddenly turned into Naya, and I gave her a high pitched British accent like Naya has. But it was a lot of fun. We had a fantastic rogue who rogues in a row. There was a lot of stealth things that were failed. I think our group tried, like me and the rogue were over here, and the group was trying to catch up to us, and half of them failed their stealth checks. So it sounded like a herd of elephants, and that's horribly racist and insulting because one of the members of our party is actually a Luxodon, and if you do not know what a Luxodon is, they are anthropomorphic elephant people. You can find, just go to what's it called? I think D&D Beyond .com. It's a free website, tells you all about D&D. You can see the different races on there. You will find the Luxodon, and they're just anthropomorphic elephant people. But the short answer is went to village, trying to find a dude. Something wrong with the village. Apparently, the village was taken over by like fish people. We go fight the bad guys. We win. Yay! That's the gist of it. I got a few spells off. Again, with 8 people, combat takes forever. Combat takes forever for my group, and there's only 5 of us playing, and then a DM. But I got a few spells in. I did have the spell Fireball. And I was like, ooh, I love Fireball so much. I've never been a sorcerer before, so I've never had that spell in my arsenal, but I've heard of it. I also know how destructive it can be, even at level 1, so no Fireball here. But I still have some pretty cool spells. The absolute climax was when our cleric gave our Luxodon Barbarian, again, a barbarian's a person who can take and receive a lot of damage. They smash things. That's basically, they get mad and they smash things. And our barbarian was that Luxodon, that elephant person. So a creature or a humanoid that's essentially 8 feet tall already. Our cleric gave him a growth potion, doubling his height. So now we have a 16-foot elephant person with matching sized weapons charging at the main bad guy. If I were that bad guy, I would have just crapped my pants and given up, seeing this giant elephant person running at me. But that was a hilarious moment. I think the other was when we were all trying to escape the tower after, I think Cthulhu broke. It was Cthulhu, but it was something like it. We were all running away, and a few of our party just jumped on the Luxodon as he was trying to climb out of the tower because it's just easier holding on to him, and he just have him do his climb checks, and he did not roll very well, so the Luxodon kind of fell off the roof, and we're just flopping down the roof, and he's got people attached to him, so we're just like smashing into our teammates as he falls down. So it was just kind of just all the way down this tower and into like a moat. But it was a lot of fun. It was easily the highlight of the weekend. I cannot thank that group enough. It was a lot of fun people. I do have a picture of them. And the DM Cody, oh my God, you were amazing. I really hope they come back next year. I would love to do that again. One last thing with that, I was so excited because this is my first time playing D&D in person. My group always plays on Roll20 because we're in 4 different places. So I was excited. I took some of my dice. I actually took the Smelly Bones dice, the ones that smell like clean linen and fir tree. And I told the DM before we started, yep, I'm here. I'm excited. I brought my smelly dice. He's like, that's really cool. I was like, yeah, this one smells like clean linen, and this one smells like fir tree. He's like, wait, are you serious? And I hand them to him, and he takes a sniff, and his eyes get wide, and he's like, I've been doing this for 20 years. I have never seen this before. And the rest of the table smelled them too, and I told him where to get them. And I'm sure I sound like a walking advertisement. As you know, I do not work for Smelly Bones or Studio Woe, whatever they call themselves. I have no affiliation with them. I just bought their stuff on Kickstarter and I really liked it. So I shared with the word, and it was great. But that was Saturday. We got done about midnight. The guys got done with their stuff and we crashed. When Sunday rolled around, I think I had another. It was being a POC in a creative space. Basically, anything that had POC or BIPOC in the name in terms of panels, I was there. Because as you've seen me before, I'm a POC. I'm a person of color. I'm Black. So this panel was at 10 a.m. on Sunday, and it was 2 voice actors. One is Black, the other I'm not sure where her nationality, but they are professional voice actors. I believe they were also guests of honor, and they're giving advice. And I've been trying to get into voice acting. I had, the gig with Corky Night that, of course, fell through. I will not go into what happened there, but it was nasty. But I've been trying to get back into it. It's just been, finding time and trying to get better. And I got a lot of good feedback and good advice from them. After that, I decided to go to the vendor hall to pick up my stuff. One thing I picked up, let's see if I can find it. And there, yeah, I've got this Cult of the Lamb poster. There's another one on the opposite side. They're the same thing. But I got that because I love Cult of the Lamb. I'm trying to finish that game. I got 2 of them because my friend Ben also liked Cult of the Lamb, so I got him one too. I also got some Blu-ray of the show Psycho-Pass. Normally Psycho-Pass is like $50 per season. It's a pain in the butt. With one of the dealers, they were holding a sale. If you paid in cash, you only paid $18. I was like, yes, you get Psycho-Pass for cheap. So I got season 2 and the movie for, I don't know why I have 3 fingers or whatever these are. I got season 2 and I got the movie for $18 a piece. I also got the show Grimgar, which is kind of a more realistic. It's an isekai, but it was a bit earlier before everything, and his grandma was an isekai, and I really enjoyed it. It's a bit more grounded as well in terms of people in the whole fantasy era. It's also kind of D&D-ish, where you have your classes and all of that. So, got all those for $18 a piece. That unfortunately meant I had to use the ATM. I try not to use ATMs at cons. I assume there's a skimmer on them, so I try not to. But I'm also a person that is counting everything I spend. And so if there is a skimmer and someone tries running up false charges, I will see it very quickly. So I took solace in that and got the cash for it. The only other thing, no, actually that was it. That was pretty much all I got. There is something else over here. Yeah, I got I was surprised because I can't see what the heck I'm doing. This actually got from one of the final panels, cosplaying over 40. There's 2 older black gentlemen that were heading that. They also did a panel Saturday night that I went to. They're just giving out awards for people who made insightful, responses and asked good questions. And so I got a Funko of Savant from the Suicide Squad, the good one, not Suicide Squad, but the Suicide Squad, the one with Idris Elba. There you go. Go watch that if you haven't. It's hilarious as heck. But beyond that, I didn't buy anything else. So that's it. There's nothing really to show you. So I just didn't buy a lot. I wanted to get a couple Cult of the Lamb tote bags, but when I went on Sunday, they were already sold out. I've got to stop waiting till Sunday to buy stuff because they end up getting sold out. And then there was a woman that had a lot of, I think they were mainly Japanese, but I think there were some other like Korean and other kind of recipes, but she had these recipe cards that she had illustrated and told you how to make certain dishes. And there was even a cookbook, and I was going to buy that from her. and maybe a couple of her posters. I do have a few of her. I was looking at her stuff. I was like, wait a minute, I know that. I have a couple of her posters in my kitchen, and I was thinking about getting a couple more. I wasn't sure about that because of just space. Nothing to do with her. Just I don't know the space in my kitchen and anywhere else when it comes to my walls. But when I went there Sunday, she was gone. Her booth was empty, and that really sucked because I wanted to get the cookbook and everything from her. So hopefully she'll be at another convention. Obviously, I could probably order them online. There's also shipping that I deal with that too. So I'll probably hold off on that. There is at least Kokoro-kan and Anime Senpai this year. I will probably end up going to Kokoro-kan because I already have a badge for that. So maybe I'll see her then. I don't know. I don't know how big. Well, Kokoro-kan's only been in 1 year. It's only a year old. Anime St. Louis has been around for a while. I think they get about 8,000 attendees. So I don't know if it'd be worth it to her to go to a smaller con, but we'll see. So that was about it. After that, that's when I had the cosplay over 40 panel. And then the guys dispersed. It was about 2 p.m. and they wanted to start heading back because they have a long drive. So I said my goodbyes. I just kind of hung out. There was another panel on fabric that was right after that. I just forgot about it and I didn't go to it. But I just kind of hung around for a bit. I was going to go to my friend Laura's house. She had also popped up at the con here and there, and she's the one that let me, stay Sunday night so I could go to my appointments on Monday. And so I did that. And my friend Karen was also there. Karen and Laura they are players and DMs for our group. They just switch off. So when one's DMing, the other's the player, and vice versa. But I had a good time talking to them Sunday night. Karen and I went ahead and just ordered, I think, Red Robin. I don't know if I have a picture of it or not. We'll find out. You'll find out whenever you see it. If you see a picture of Red Robin, then I have the picture. If not, then I didn't. I forgot to take the picture. And we watched The Last Unicorn, which I'd never seen. It was fine. So that's it. That's pretty much it. Next day I had my doctor and dental appointments, and I have 3 more cavities, so awesome. And I came home and scrambled to get my life back together because I've been gone for 3 days. I think I went to work one day Wednesday, and I worked from home the rest of the week. It's been crazy around here. My mom's been replacing all the windows in here, so that kind of disrupted things. This past week, she had surgery, so I've been in and out. So April's just been insane. I think I mentioned that before, and Anime St. Louis was a big part of that, but I had a lot of fun. I'm really glad we went. I'm glad we were able to get it to work. I'm really glad we were able to get in the embassy suites because I was not looking forward to walking 20 minutes in a suit. So I'm glad we didn't have to do that. But yeah, that's Anime St. Louis. I hope you guys enjoyed that story. And again, I will have just random pictures besides the food. Any pictures that I happen to take, I'll try and shove those here. Again, I forget to take pictures at anime conventions. I'm all with the furry ones because there are fursuits everywhere. But for cosplay, I just forget. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm sorry. Please don't hate me. But that's it. If you know the drill, if you like what I do, like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Let me know if you were at Anime St. Louis. Maybe I saw you. I have no idea. Please let me know. With the other half of this month, since it's a funky month, usually I have 2 things that go together. Anime St. Louis is just one video. So I considered a video game, but my video game unboxing, like Alyss Plays, is kind of its own separate thing, and I would throw off the counts. I think I'm going to do like a hodgepodge type video. Either it'll be multiple, creators on Kickstarter that really don't fit into any categories, or it might be just one. I know Bilby has quite a few pins that I got from her, so I might just do Bilby and do some nostalgia pins. I'm not sure. I'll look into my Kickstarter stuff and see what I've got. But that will be the final video for May. Just kind of either a hodgepodge or just like a random something from Kickstarter. And then in June, we will go back to Persona Pits because I have not done that in a while and we really need to get back to that. So until then, I'm hot, I'm tired, I've been running around all day, and I have not showered. I figure I would just shoot this video since I already haven't showered, and then shower afterwards, and I will clean all this stuff tonight. But until the next video, guys, have a good night.